Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. This time, we're going to Oz.
To Oz.
But we're not exactly following the yellow brick road,
Right.
We're going to take a little detour
Okay.
into the life of Elphaba, the Wicked Witch of the West.
Now, she's a fascinating character.
Oh, absolutely. And, everyone thinks they know her story. Wicked Witch, green skin, wants to get Dorothy.
Right, the whole thing.
But we are going to unpack her story from the beginning.
Okay.
Using Gregory Maguire's novel, Wicked, as our guide.
Yeah.
And I think what we're going to find is that things in Oz are rarely as simple as they seem. What do you think?
I think that's a great place to start. I mean, think about it. Just one word, wicked,
Yeah.
can completely shape how we see somebody. Like, we think we know Elphaba.
Yeah.
Well, what if it's just, one side of a much bigger picture?
Totally. And her picture starts with her being born with green skin,
Oh, yeah.
which in Oz, I mean, that's basically
Instant outsider.
instant outsider status.
Yeah. It makes you think, right? About how focused we are on appearances. Even in Oz.
Oh, totally. It's everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere. And it reflects this fear of anything different, Throughout history, it's the same story. Different skin color, different beliefs.
Right.
People get suspicious, they get prejudiced.
So Elphaba's green skin, it's not just like a physical thing.
Yeah.
It represents like
Her otherness.
her otherness, exactly. Which makes her a pretty tough childhood.
Oh, absolutely. Imagine growing up and everybody's staring and whispering.
Oh, gosh.
Maybe even rejecting you just because of how you look. That's got to affect you.
And it did, I mean,
Yeah.
especially with her family, too. Her mother, Milena,
Right.
she seems so fixated on appearances and social status.
Yeah, like it's embarrassing to her.
It is. It's like Elphaba's green skin. Is this like,
A stain or something.
yeah, something to hide?
Hide away, yeah.
It makes you think about how much parents' expectations can shape a person. What's that do to a kid long term?
It can be really damaging, When a child feels like they have to meet certain conditions to be loved,
Right.
it can make them feel unworthy.
They're always seeking validation.
Always.
Yeah. It reminds me of,
Oh, yeah, attachment theory, all that.
exactly. Kids need to feel safe, loved, no matter what.
Secure.
Secure.
Yes.
Yes. And poor Elphaba, she didn't get any of that. Her dad, Frex,
Oh, Frax, yeah.
sees her green skin as some kind of divine punishment.
Talk about a double whammy.
I know, it's like,
Catch a break.
she can't catch a break, poor thing. And then you add in her sister, Nesseros.
Oh, yeah, the sibling dynamic.
I mean, sibling rivalry is normal,
Sure.
but when you add in parental favoritism,
Oh, that changes things.
it's a whole other
Yeah.
level of messed up.
Absolutely.
So we've got Elphaba, bright, sensitive young woman,
Right.
dealing with societal prejudice, a mother obsessed with appearances,
Father who thinks she's cursed.
a sister who's getting all the love she's not.
That's a recipe for some issues.
It's rough, right? But then she goes to Shiz University. Finally. It's like a breath of fresh air for her.
It is a real turning point for Elphaba.
Yeah, she's getting out of that stifling environment, finally getting to discover who she is.
Shiz is more than just school. It's like,
It's catalyst.
yeah, like a catalyst for transformation.
She meets people, encounters ideas that challenge everything she thought she knew.
And it all starts with, well, a kind of unlikely friendship.
Oh, yeah, tell me about this. So she meets Glinda, popular, bubbly, basically Elphaba's opposite.
Total opposite, yeah.
But they become friends.
They do.
It's amazing how that happens, right? Sometimes the people who are most different from us,
Have the biggest impact.
the biggest impact. Yeah, Glinda helps Elphaba navigate Shiz. Elphaba pushes Glinda to think about things in a new way.
You know what they say? Iron sharpens iron.
Exactly.
Right.
But before we dive into that whole dynamic, there's another big character I want to talk about. Dr. Dillamond, the talking goat. He's a professor at Shiz.
Right, and such a symbol of the marginalized in Oz.
Oh, absolutely. The animals are losing their rights, being discriminated against.
It's a sad story, really, but it happens everywhere.
It does. It happens over and over again in history.
People in power, they need a scapegoat,
Right.
someone to blame.
And it's easier if those people are already seen as different.
Exactly. And the wizard, he's great at using that to his advantage.
So how does Elphaba, who's experienced this firsthand, how does she react to all of this?
Well, she sees the injustice of it all, She connects with Dr. Dillamond, sees the parallels.
Between his struggles and her own.
Yeah. It ignites this passion in her.
A passion for justice.
Exactly. She's not going to sit back and just watch this happen.
This is where it gets good, right? We're starting to see the seeds of rebellion.
Seeds are definitely planted.
Shiz University It's not just giving her an education, it's opening her eyes to the truth about Oz.
And that, my friend, is where we're going to pick up in the next part of our deep dive.
Oh, I can't wait. This is where it gets really interesting.
It does. You don't want to miss it.
We'll be right back, so stay tuned.
Welcome back. So last time we were talking about Elphaba,
Yeah.
starting to see the truth about Oz.
Right. And, I think that's really where she starts to come into her own,
Yeah.
She's finding her people,
Finding her voice.
finding her voice.
Like after feeling like an outsider for so long.
Yeah, exactly.
And those connections she's making, they're powerful.
Oh, they are. Speaking of connections,
Oh, yeah.
we got to talk about Glinda.
Glinda, of course. That
That's-
whole relationship is fascinating.
It's such a classic.
Opposites attract.
Opposites attract. You've got Elphaba.
Smart, a little brooding.
Yeah.
And then there's Glinda shining roses.
On the surface, you'd think, oh, this friendship won't last.
Superficial, right.
Yeah.
But it's not.
It's so deep.
It is.
And it's because they challenge each other.
They do.
Glinda helps Elphaba navigate the whole social scene at Shiz.
And Elphaba makes Glinda think, right?
Well, exactly. She
Yeah.
makes her think about those hard questions.
The ones you don't want to face.
Yeah. And it shows you that.
Growth can come from unexpected places.
Totally. Sometimes the people who push us the most,
Are the best for us in the long run?
that's like iron sharpens iron.
That's a good one.
Right. But it's not just about personal growth either.
No.
It's about power.
Ooh. Yeah, good point.
Glinda, she's got the connections, the influence,
The privilege.
the privilege, yeah. Elphaba has always been excluded from that world,
And Elphaba shows Glinda that other side.
the side she never sees.
The injustices.
Exactly.
It's like looking through different lenses.
It is, and it makes me think about our own friendships,
Oh, yeah. How so?
Do you have friends who challenge you?
Oh, absolutely.
Make you see things differently?
All the time.
Everyone needs that.
We do.
But back to Elphaba.
Okay, back to Elphaba.
She's not just learning about magic at Shiz.
No.
She's learning about the politics of Oz.
Oh, yeah. And that's a whole other lesson.
It's pretty.
Not pretty at all.
The wizard,
The so-called wonderful wizard.
he's a manipulator.
Oh, yeah. He's good at it.
He's good at it. Propaganda, fear.
Classic authoritarian.
It's textbook, isn't it?
It is.
He creates this whole narrative, paints himself as the savior.
The only one who can protect them.
Exactly. And anyone who disagrees,
Silenced.
gone.
It's scary, really.
It is. And the animals, they're the perfect scapegoat.
Oh, yeah.
They're different, they're losing their rights.
Their voices are being taken away.
And it's happening slowly, so people don't notice.
They're being erased.
They are.
And the worst part is...
It works.
It does. The wizard, he's distracting everyone from his own corruption.
Masterful, really, in a terrible way.
And it's not just the animals, is it? You see this pattern everywhere in Oz.
It's like a virus.
It is, spreading everywhere.
Taking over.
So what does Elphaba do? She can't just sit back and watch this happen.
She's not the type.
She's not. She knows something's wrong,
Deep down.
but she also knows that going after the wizard directly, that's not going to work.
No, he's too powerful.
So what does she do?
She's smart, right?
She is.
So she starts small.
Okay.
She uses her magic, her intelligence.
To chip away at the wizard's authority,
Exactly. She questions him,
exposes his lies.
protects the innocent.
She's playing a dangerous game.
She is. But it's like,
She has to.
she has to. And as the stakes get higher,
The lines get blurrier,
Yeah.
right and wrong.
is she still the good guy? Is the wizard the bad guy?
It's not so simple anymore.
It's not. And then enter Fiyero.
Ah, Fiyero, the prince.
He's a whole new world for Elphaba.
He is. Love, privilege, beauty,
Everything she's never had.
and their connection.
Intense.
And
A little bit tragic.
he is. It makes you think about the sacrifices people make for what they believe in.
The cost of fighting for what's right.
And Elphaba, she's willing to pay that price.
She is. Fiyero changes her, challenges her,
Forces her to confront her own desires.
her fears.
But as she gets bolder, as she pushes back harder against the wizard, the label sticks, doesn't it?
The wicked label.
It does.
But who decides who's wicked? Is it just a matter of who's telling the story?
That's a great question.
And I think that's what we need to unpack in the final part of our deep dive.
Because Elphaba's story, the story of the Wicked Witch of the West,
It's not over yet.
not even close.
Okay, so we're back, and things are getting really intense for Elphaba.
Oh yeah, the stakes are definitely higher now.
Right. She's fighting this corrupt system.
This whole wizard regime.
But the more she resists, the more they call her wicked.
It's that classic tactic, you know?
Yeah,
Like, make the opposition the villain.
Exactly. Like, discredit them, make people afraid of them.
Control the narrative.
And that's what he's doing, right? The
This
wizard,
is-
he's a master storyteller.
He is. And whoever controls the story.
Controls the truth.
In a way, yeah.
So by calling her wicked,
He's turning public opinion against her.
exactly. It's like, how do you fight back against that when the language itself is being used against you?
It's tough.
It-
But Elphaba, she's smart.
Right?
She embraces the label.
She does. It's like,
Fine, call me wicked,
yeah.
but I'll define what that means.
So she turns it into a symbol of resistance.
Exactly. A badge of honor for those who are fighting for what's right.
And that makes her even more dangerous to the wizard.
Oh.
Because now she's not just challenging his power.
She's challenging the whole system.
The whole system.
The way people think.
About good and evil.
About everything.
It's like she's saying, you can call me whatever you want, but you can't control me.
It's powerful, really.
And that's why she's such a fascinating character, you know?
She is.
She makes you question everything.
Your assumptions about right and wrong.
The labels we put on each other.
It's all up for grabs with Elphaba.
So, what's the big lesson here? What does Elphaba teach us about power, about resistance?
Well, I think it's a reminder that power is never absolute.
Right.
There's always someone who will challenge it.
And that resistance can look like a lot of different things.
It can be quiet, it can be loud, it can be everything in between.
And it's about perspective.
Yeah, who's telling the story matters.
We see Elphaba's complexity, her compassion.
But the wizard, he wants people to see her as a monster.
And how many times does that happen in real life, you know?
All the time, probably.
That's why it's so important to think critically.
To question what we're told.
To seek out different perspectives.
Don't just accept things at face value.
Exactly. Elphaba's story is a reminder that we have a responsibility to dig deeper.
To challenge injustice.
To fight for what's right, even when it's hard.
Even when it seems impossible.
Because that's what Elphaba does.
She never gives up.
And she redefines what it means to be good.
In her own way, on her own terms.
So I think that's a great place to leave it, don't you think?
I do. Elphaba, the so-called Wicked Witch of the West.
She's more than just a villain.
Much more.
She's a symbol of hope, of resistance.
A reminder that we all have the power to change the world.
And that's what this deep dive has been all about, right? Encouraging you to question, to challenge, to think for yourselves.
And to never stop fighting for what you believe in.
Well said. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and we'll see you next time.